I'm Alex.
And I'm Joey. We did it reverse.
I know, that threw me.
It felt weird.
No, we should never do. This will be the last time you ever see us do this, by the way. Enjoy it. Remember this moment. You will never, ever have it again.
Okay, so we're actually reviewing today Slaughterville Director's Cut right here. It's big.
It's
big.
a giant box.
Look at that. Look at that. It's crazy. So this is pretty much you are living through a B movie.
Yeah.
So it's really good. I mean, really
like a horror movie too. You're looking through like a horror movie.
So before we talk too much about it, I mean, a name like Slaughterville, you know what you're gonna get.
You do.
And if you buy a house there,
you are expecting to see unicorns.
Totally. What? So weird. Totally on you though. Totally on you. All right. Let's see how it plays. Okay, this is the Slaughterville Director's Cut. I have got everything set up. It comes with a nice little play mat here, and I've got 6 locations here. You probably can't see them, but it's the cabins, the cemetery, the forest, which is a little bit hard to see there, then the residential neighborhood, house on Haunted Hill, and general store. Each of these have a deck of cards that you are going to encounter with and flip over as you get to different places. I am using the serial killer right here. That is the villain we're going against. There is an entire stack of different villains you can go with, each one with different win conditions and different things they do. So all of these are right here. You've got the Carnival, the Contagion, the Horseman, the Slasher, all of those are here, and you also have more locations. Then you've got characters chosen right here. I have chosen the bad boy, the homicide detective, and the final girl. Now on each of these, you have got the top different values here. These are for skill checks. That's combat, then that's nerve, then you've got perception, agility, and hit points. Then underneath that, you've got a talent. Talents are free to use. And these down here, these skills take a clue. Clues you get from winning skill checks at different locations. So also, different on this one, you no longer have these tokens. I mean, you've got them, you don't need to use them. They now have matching tokens for all the different characters, as well as your lovely serial killer right here. And you have got a big bag of the rest of the characters if you want to switch during the game, and if one of your characters gets killed. So it's a very simple game. Player aid is on the back to tell you exactly how to do everything, and I'll go through quickly the way the game is played. Pretty much you get 2 actions. The actions could be, I'm going to go ahead, I'll use a final girl. We're going to move to the general store and use an action to encounter. So I've encountered here, and I have gotten a sledgehammer, and there is nice flavor text. This really adds to the game. I'm not going to read it all right here, but pretty much this is going to give us +2 on our combat rolls. So we're going to give this to our final girl. She now has a sledgehammer. Those are our 2 actions. Now also, this right here is a first player token. So that will go on her so we know she is activated first. Then we're going to go to the homicide detective. Homicide detective is going to go to the residential neighborhood and encounter here. Right here, so we have got an SUV. A demon, so this is probably something to fight. So the dark road is lit by headlights. Roll 1d6. There's a lot of rolling in this. We're going to roll, and there we go, 5. So on 5 to 6, let's see here, 5 to 6, right, or 4 to 6, there's a body by the road. I have to make a nerve or investigation check and search for the driver. So let's do that. I will use, because my investigation is 3, I will roll a 3, and when you do a skill check, 5 and 6s are successes. So I have actually got 2 successes right there. So if I succeed, you find the SUV's keys right here, and I can attach the SUV to gain +1 investigation. So I will do that, and that is his second move. Next, we're going to take the bad boy and we're going to move him up here. Now, what we're going to do here is a bit different. Like I mentioned, every different villain has different win conditions. The serial killer will win if this track gets to 10. On his turn, all he's going to do is move this up. We win if we can solve enough riddles to have him go through the deck before he does this. So if I go here, I can then use an action to overturn 2 villain cards. 1 and then 2. So here we go. So we've actually got a villain right here. So I've got a riddle. It is placed on a random location. In order to find a random location, I roll 1, 2, 3, 4, and the riddle will be placed here. In order to solve these riddles, I have got to get successes equal to this, 4 plus 1 per character. Since there's 3 players, that would be a 7. So next time around, I can go there with, say, the bad boy, and I can roll 3 die right here, and let's see what I got. Nothing. Let's say I did better than that. There we go. I got 1 success. I will take this, place it on there, and whenever I get to the breaking point, which is 7 on this, I can then read solved on this object. Solved. The sides split and open. A vial of green poison sits sealed. Remove this card and the top 1d3 of the villain deck from the game. So I would do that and slowly go through the deck. Now, since we've all gone, it is the villain's turn. With this particular villain, he doesn't do anything except for advance the time track by 1. Boom. So now he's closer to winning. And then there are different tokens you can use also. You can also go back to the entrance to Slaughterville here to roll 1d3. If you get hurt, there are different minions in here that you have to combat. And if you are going against somebody in combat and say they have a combat of 4 and you have a combat of 2, you're going to roll. And right there, there's 2 to 1, so I would take 1 hit and I would lose that combat round. And then you can escape or continue. So that is pretty much the gist of Slaughterville Director's Cut and how you play. So let's send it back to the studio and see what we thought about it. Okay, and that is Slaughterville.
Yes.
So now let's talk component-wise before we get into gameplay.
Let's do it.
The components, the box, the game tray and things, it's great.
Yes, it is. It's really good.
Especially for a passion project. And it's not really a passion project because this was released before.
Yeah.
And now he's had
smaller versions.
Right. He's had time to kind of tweak it and things. And you can tell by the box itself.
Yes.
The box, the game mat is nice. The cards
Really
are good
nice.
quality. Those location, the cardboard locations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great.
The thickness of those is just great.
They are solid.
And the standees that you've got
I
with
really
them.
like the standees rather than having to do minis or something like that. I do really like the standees.
It's really nice. The one thing I noticed though is there are almost too many standees.
I was gonna say that you almost need to separate the standees into like characters and then your villains and stuff like that,
Right.
because there's too many. So when your character dies and you need to replace it with someone else, you have to go, rummaging through a pile of things to find the person you're actually looking for, which is fine, but can be a little frustrating.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a big deal, but
We'd probably separate them into male, female, and villains. That way you kind of know what you're looking for.
And there's room in the box for all those different bags.
Right, because your characters will die.
They will.
It is Slaughterville. So so that is a big thing.
Yeah.
The other one thing I had, everything has a place. It comes out, goes up really easily. But the one thing that I didn't like is when you put the dividers on the cards, as you know, dividers, if you divide cards, they have to be a little bit taller than the cards themselves.
So you can rummage through.
They're too tall for the box top. So when you put the box top on there, it will squish them down.
Yeah.
And the designer kind of mentioned the fact that, they kind of went too shallow on that.
Yeah.
And he realizes the problem. You can negate that by kind of slanting them a bit.
Yeah. It's not terrible.
It's not terrible, so you can move around it, but it is a hassle, and you won't be able to slant it if you have that full of cards, which is not now.
But maybe eventually you will be, so then it's going to be a problem later on.
Yeah, because I know there's Slaughterville 3 coming out. So anyway, all right, so that's enough about the components.
I was going to say, one thing too I do like about the components is I like how they're photos, not like artwork and stuff like that.
Yes.
I do really like the photos. So I like that.
Yeah, that right there, some people probably may not like that.
Some people might. I like that, but I just wanted to let you know they're photos, not actual artwork. But I like that.
Right. Yeah. It's more like a Last Night on Earth type of event.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it helps like the B-movie feel.
I think so too.
Right?
I like that. Yeah.
It kind of gives that
agree. It helps you get into the feel of it.
Now, gameplay itself. Gameplay, it of course plays similar to Arkham Horror.
Yes.
Because it's all about the skill checks, investigations, and things like that. But number one, you might like this theme better. I know some people are Cthulhu'd out. And this has just a horror B-movie trope feel.
Yeah, I love the theme of this game, not
Right.
this movie. It makes me feel like I'm in a movie. I really, really like this theme a lot. I love the vast choice of villains I can play.
Yeah.
They say random, but we went through and kind of read them all. Like, which one do we want to play now? Which one do we play now? You know, I really like that stack of villains.
That's really nice. Now, the one thing
Yes.
is, this is all about the die rolls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of luck in this game, and you can negate it by using clues to re-roll, things like that, but you have to get the clues.
You do.
And in order to get the clues, you have to have a good die roll to win that event to get the
Yes.
clues. So it all comes down to those die rolls. So
Yeah.
there is a randomness that some people won't be okay with.
Yeah, I was going to say when I first started playing this game, I didn't like the stack of cards for each location. That was not my favorite thing. After playing this many times, I've become okay with all the locations, and I feel like all those cards for each location help you get in that theme. At first, you kind of like, it's a little overwhelming and like, oof, what am I doing now? But as you play it more, it works, it makes sense, it helps you get into that theme and that, you know, mindset of playing that game. I like that. Yeah.
And what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say one more thing too. I felt like also, at first I felt this game was a little clunky because every time you're playing a villain, there'd be a little question here or there. You're like, I'm not sure what this means or what do I do here? So you'd have to constantly refer to the rule book, which the rule book is not very big. It's very easy to read and very easy to understand. But there were questions that I kept kind of like having to figure out as we went along, which slowed it down, made it a little clunky. But it's one of those games too that the more you play it, the less clunky it gets. And I did really like that.
And there's a few things like when you have to attach a weapon or a person to the villain, there's nowhere to put it.
No.
Because the game mat's nice, but it's like, well, where do I put this guy? He's like next to the villain, so it kind of gets awkward as far as that goes.
It does get a little cluttered.
Yeah. But and also the villains, I would say in the future, what I'd like to see is another second book that is more like of a villain FAQ.
Yes.
Because the villain, what is about them is only on their board.
Yeah, that's it.
So you find yourself having to pick that up and read it over and over, and then you have questions and you refer back to the book. And I would like to see some sort of FAQ that kind of goes into every villain that maybe describes what they do and how they play. Because they
streamline it a little bit better.
Well, they do play different, which is great.
Amazing.
It adds some variability to it. And I love that. One thing people might not like is the fact that it's not, you may break thematic for you. Like you might be fighting the cannibal rednecks. Carnival rednecks.
Oh, that's the next one. Slaughterville 4. We've got it right there.
Cannibal rednecks.
Yeah.
You're fighting them, but you happen to be at the cemetery looking for weapons, and you get attacked by a zombie horde.
Yeah.
And then you're also at the general store, and you get attacked by a crazed clerk.
Yes.
So you're like, how does this have anything to do with the cannibal rednecks?
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, it doesn't.
But that's okay.
But it actually, I didn't think I would like that.
Yeah.
But it made us laugh several times.
Several times. We did really enjoy that a lot.
I mean, we're sitting here fighting against a serial killer, and then we happen to have a ghost as hunting us too, and it's like, this is getting bad.
And then we're in darkness at one point. It got a little crazy, but it was so awesome.
Yeah, and it's one of those weird ones that the first time we played it, we thought, I don't know how this is going to go.
I know. At first, like I said, that first time going through, I was very like, you know, felt very clunky, very hesitant about playing it. But the more you've played it, the more I've read that rule book. You know, I referred to all those villain cards. I've also looked at all the locations. I get it. It clicks. It works.
And it's one of those, here's how you know a good game. And this has kind of adjusted our rating of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, is it one of those games that you're like, okay, that was fun. We played that. Let's play something else. And it was. But then we found ourselves wanting to play it again.
We did. Several times we even brought our daughter in to play it too, because we need an extra person.
Yeah. We're bad parents. But no, it's not, it's a kind of a silly theme on things like that. But also the thing is, we woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning and just all of a sudden said, do you want to fight that serial killer?
Yeah,
and
we did.
we're like, and we just decided to fight a serial killer again. And then by that time, we knew the locations, and we're like, well, we need the farm, we need the house on Haunted Hill, we definitely need the general store.
Yes.
And you find yourself kind of giving yourself the best chance of survival by getting the locations you want for this villain out.
Yeah.
And I will say it's one of those games that grew on me. It's chaotic.
Oh yeah.
It's brutal. It's random. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
It's really, it's crazy how much I enjoy the game. Now, if you are one of those people that takes a game seriously and you have to kind of, it's all strategy for you, and you can't just relax and say, you know what, let's just experience this game and laugh
together
about
and let's enjoy it. Yeah.
It almost had, you know how Betrayal is so tilted.
Yes.
Betrayal, you'll play it and sometimes it's like there's no chance of winning.
Yeah.
And that's how this is.
Yeah. Oh, it does remind me a lot to Betrayal in some ways. Yeah.
And it's just, it's silly fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what would you give this?
I'd give this a 7.
A 7?
A 7, yes.
Right. I would give this, I'd go 7.5 on this.
Yeah.
I almost went to 8, but if they had like an FAQ, if they had a bit more documentation, so it takes the guesswork out, that would elevate it up.
I would feel like if it was streamlined a little bit better, I would probably definitely be more giving it an 8 than the 7.
Yeah, but I will be playing Slaughterville 2.
Oh, and I will recommend this to everybody.
And like Slaughterville 3, I'm excited if they can.
We've already backed that on, right?
Yeah, not yet we have, but we will after playing this one. But then but if they get that book and just kind of streamline it and things like that, we definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
But you know what you're getting when you get a game called Slaughterville.
There you go. The title says it all.
If you like horror, if you like B movies, this is great. It is exactly what you think it is. So come visit Slaughterville.
It's gonna be lovely, they said.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Should be nice, she said.
The rivers flow red. All right. Hey, thanks guys.
See
I'm
you next
Joey.
time. I'm Alex.
Bye.
Bye. We did right.
Yay!
Hey, yeah.